Hey guys, another video blog about cardio. So today we're going to talk about the benefits of cardio. So last time I gave a brief intro to it, but didn't really go into too much detail over anything. So yeah, making the first kind of proper video about it on the benefits. The first benefit, mentioned it briefly last time, is fitness or work capacity. So I think even if your main goals are purely performance based in the weight room, I'd still say cardio can provide some benefit. Basically, certainly I notice in my own sessions, a really big difference when I do cardio versus when I don't. So if you take a leg session, for instance, generally when training legs, it's sort of fairly hard going, not only muscularly but on the cardiovascular system as well. I definitely notice in the gym when I'm training that a lot of guys have to take quite long rests between sets. Certainly the case, or it should be the case when you're training heavy, training with low rep ranges, because you need that recovery time to recover it, in essence, get ready for the next set. But definitely see quite a few guys, even on their light sets, not pushing particularly hard, just absolutely gassed after a set of squats. Personally, I find I can get through a leg session fairly quickly by doing things like supersets. Often when I'm sort of performing one exercise, I'll be warming up the next one. So let's say I had good mornings with the safety squat bar, so I was doing sets of 6 for that. It's needed relatively longish recovery time in between, but instead of just sitting there, what I was doing was going and warming up on the hack squat machine. So nothing too taxing, but I found my cardio system was okay to cope with that. I think that's generally the case in any session. I do kind of wonder how people manage to get through really tough leg session without much of basic cardio fitness, really. So even if you're entirely weights based, I'd say cardio is going to help you with that recovery between sets. Leads us on nicely into point number 2, which is recovery between sessions. So when you first start doing cardio, you probably will find that even if you go low intensity, might sort of interfere with your recovery a bit. But as with anything, the more you do it, in theory, the easier it gets, or the more you can cope with it. And it should start improving recovery, as cardio boosts blood flow, sort of helps flush the build up of lactic acid, hydrogen ions throughout the muscle, so it gets through a little bit quicker. Definitely think it's beneficial in that respect. So when you start off, you might find that particularly on your legs, it's hard going, getting a cardio session the day after a legs workout, or vice versa, doing cardio and then doing legs the next day. If that's the case, potentially do the 2 on the same day, do your cardio preferably after weights and then have a rest day. But yeah, recovery between sessions is quite a big one as well in terms of benefits of cardio. You've also got the undisputed fact of calorie burn. So if it comes down to weights versus cardio, I'd always say go for the weight training, because you get that calorie burn, you get that afterburn effect, or EPOC, or metabolism boost, however you want to refer to it as. And you obviously get the strength building, muscle building benefits too. But cardio will burn calories. Highly efficient way of burning calories, in my opinion. It does depend on the type of cardio you do, how hard you work, in steady state versus high intensity interval training. But again, whatever form you choose, it will burn some extra calories. So you could, for instance, if you wanted to do really easy cardio, just sit on the bike, go along for half an hour, might burn an extra couple of 100 calories. If your goal is to lose fat, do that a few times a week. After a while, it definitely adds up. Again, leads us on to benefit number 4, which is G-flux. Now, something that I've not got, or not sort of looked particularly for any research to back it up at the moment, but G-flux, as far as I know, the phrase was coined by Dr. John Berardi. So, really smart guy, and whilst I like looking stuff myself, I kind of think if he's on board with it, then there's definitely some merit in it. So G-flux is the idea that if you've got a set calorie balance, basically, so 2 guys needing or looking at a calorie deficit of say 500 a day, one guy is consuming 2,000 calories and burning 2,500. The other guy is consuming 2,500 and burning 3,000. So they've both got a 500 calorie deficit, Berardi's theory is that the guy who is doing more exercise and consuming more calories will have better results in terms of fat loss, muscle retention and performance because he's eating a higher amount of calories, eating more food, getting more nutrients in. And I would kind of go along with that just from what I've seen really. I definitely advise that clients train as much as they can while still recovering well. So if you notice a drop off in performance, then it's time to cut down your training volume a bit. But again, burning a few extra calories from cardio helps you eat more calories and still, well, in essence, get better results. Even if it didn't lead to better results, I don't think there's many people who are going to argue with eating more. I certainly know I'd rather be eating 2,500 calories a day and doing a couple hundred calories worth of cardio each day than being on 2,300. Just personal preference, I like to eat. It's probably not the same for everyone, especially if you're a hard gainer, if you believe in hard gainers or not. Yeah, definitely from a fat loss perspective, and even from a bulking perspective as well, you get to eat more if you burn some calories through cardio. And the last benefit I've got, potentially controversial one, but building muscle mass. I'd say cardio in the traditional form, or what a lot of people think of like doing long steady runs, is going to be benefit or in no way beneficial for muscle mass. In actual fact, a lot of people would argue that you could potentially lose muscle mass doing it, which is a topic we'll have in another video blog coming up. But something like some bike sprints, a Tabata on a spinning bike, anything like that, I would argue if it's a new stimulus for your muscle, could potentially aid in building muscle. Obviously, it's more difficult to regulate the progressive overload on something like this than it would be with a weight training session. It's kind of easy to screw it up as well. If you're not working at high enough intensity, then won't build muscle mass. But it's something I find quite interesting to look at, really. I mean, you've got your guys that are Olympic bike sprinters and people like that who have got absolutely enormous quads. Obviously, they do weight train as well. A lot of the guys have got really impressive squatting numbers. But I'd say that high intensity sprinting on a bike certainly contributes to overall muscle mass. I think it's one of those things that you have to look into it a bit more, but it's certainly not a bad way to go with it, really. Progressive overload principle, any new stimulus on the muscle will lead to growth potentially. So I think in essence they're my 5 benefits, I'd say. You've got the fitness aspect to help with your weights and anything else you choose to do, help with day-to-day fitness as well, it's chores you do in everyday life. You've got the recovery between sessions, increased calorie burn, G-flux and potential muscle mass gain. You've got 5 benefits there. I've probably missed quite a few, to be honest. I'm kind of doing this just ad hoc, so it'd be great to hear what you guys think are benefits as well. Drop them in the box below or get on the Facebook page, let me know. We shall go for another video blog on cardio soon. Cheers guys, take it easy.